how we accidentally became the big bad evil guy. Let's do it. So first of all, I need to give you some context. The players have all agreed that evil characters are allowed in this campaign, and the DM was looking forward to the chaos that comes with this. Now, some background on the party. The team was comprised of a changeling warlock rogue that hates dwarves and has gotten into much trouble for this, a shifter rogue that has acted as the voice of reason for us, an elf bard that has had her player missing for this adventure, and finally, the reason this happened, a deep gnome artificer that we all suspected was evil. So because we were out of a lot of things and deeply bored, we took a quest from a local RAVENLOFT to go into the abyss and collect 2 objects for him. A sword, he called the Sun Sword, and a tome of a great necromancer. Also, we had the hint that maybe a vampire named Strahd may have them. No, not really. We accepted that. So, we prepared as best we could. Mostly just buying the most expensive thing we could with the money offered by the RAVENLOFT before the adventure, and then we jumped into the first portal into the abyss. There, we wandered for a few days, doing meaningless tasks until we got an invite into a party hosted by the vampire. The invitation came with dresses and suits perfectly tailored for the party. Lovely guy. After a few days of travel, we reached his city. During this time, we have talked about trading or maybe doing some work for Strahd, but we have never even considered the possibility of fighting him. This quickly changed once we saw the state of the city. The tipping point for most of us was a chance meeting in a bar with a werewolf NPC that explained to us that no one yet has escaped this city. The most important thing he told us was that he is a cleric. Power wolf much? That was something we were missing for a while, so we decided to bond together with the rest of the werewolves in town and prepare an attack. During one of our scouting missions, we have found that the bartender, a woman named Tatiana, was receiving special treatment from Strahd. This was the last piece of the puzzle. We had a way to get Strahd to come to us and make him fight on our own terms. We used an item from some time ago to open Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion and convinced Tatiana to hide there until the fighting was over. While we were talking in the mansion that now acted as our only safe place, we heard a loud knocking on the door. Weapons in hand and spells ready to fire, we opened to see a young woman with white hair and old and healed claw-like wounds branding her face. She introduced herself as Adrin and asked us to let her come inside. Carefully, we let her in under a zone of truth cast by Almar, the werewolf cleric. We found out that she also wanted to fight Strahd and is here because she heard from Tatiana about us. Also, she had the blade of the Sun Sword. After we all took a long rest, we exited the mansion and went into position, waiting for the fish to take the bait. The fight was a huge success. Strahd was completely unprepared for us and the werewolves. After he was defeated, we acted on our plan, gathering every town member in the center of the city and smoked out any vampires left with the daylight spell, while the rogue and Adrin went to explore the castle. This was his biggest mistake. He let the idiots alone, thinking nothing bad can happen now. After the daylight spell is casted, 2 spawns cry from pain and a vampire that was captured by the werewolf army. The spawns were no problem, and now it was interrogation time, because we still needed to know where the hilt of the Sun Sword was. The vampire didn't talk much, so the artificer had an idea. He had a bag of beans and thought that it would make him more talkative if a volatile magic item is in him. So, the seed is planted in a knife wound caused by the warlock, and he rolls. And the player has a deep, deep sigh as he reads out loud the effect of the bean. Quote, 91 to 99. A pyramid with a 60-foot square base bursts upward. Inside is a sarcophagus containing a mummy lord. See the monster manual for stats. The pyramid is treated as the mummy lord's lair, and its sarcophagus contains treasure of the DM's choice. The DM facepalmed as he explained how from the body of the vampire this giant pyramid comes out of nowhere and bludgeons us and most of the crowd gathered around us. In total, we took about 60 damage. Really shitty roll from our DM, and the party was lucky no one died. because we didn't even take a short rest after the battle. Everyone was unconscious. About 400 civilians were now just blood and guts on the wall, and 10 werewolves died out of a total of 14. After we woke up, we saw two things. 1, the bloodbath we were in. 2, Adrin holding back not to kill the Artificer for what he had done. Because of DM mercy, Adrin had thrown the Artificer on the ground and left. But he didn't last long, because in a few minutes the rogue got to the scene and asked the Warlock who was at fault. But the rogue was too angry to listen to the whole story. He only waited for the first name, Maul the Artificer. Without a second thought, he grabbed his sword and pierced broad eyes of the criminal, leaving his body lifeless on the blood-soaked floor. Whew. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to see more content like this in the future, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for listening.